Welcome to the Growing Your Business podcast, a program created to answer the question, what's in it for me, for both the business and their customers. Joining me today on the Growing Your Business podcast is Lori Ruml with the Art Experience. Hello, Lori. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking.
Good.
So why art?
I love art.
Yeah?
I feel that humans have a need to express themselves, whether you're just scribbling, whether you are cooking, whether you're gardening, whether you are woodworking, fixing a car. Everybody has that need to create, and I just enjoy art and creating.
And you have your whole life. When did you discover that you were an artist?
Oh, that's a very complicated question.
Sure.
I was first put into an art class in 7th grade. My father got transferred here when I was in middle school, and I got shoved into an art class. Mm-hmm. I wanted to take home ec. That's what you did in the 1980s, was you took home ec, and I got put in this art class, and here I am now. So I loved my art class. I loved my art teacher. I'm actually still friends with her.
Wonderful.
To this day. My kids know her. I see and talk to her all the time. So she had a great impact on me. And ever since that first class in 7th grade, I've studied art. I've loved art.
That's wonderful. And you've opened your studio. Tell me how long you've had your studio here in Plano.
My grand opening is actually on Saturday.
Oh,
so just a few days away.
So in the future, when you're listening to this, you'll know that her studio is open. So tell me, how did you make a decision to open the studio, and what were you doing prior?
Well, I've had the art experience for 25 years now.
Yes.
I've just taught in various venues. I teach at Collin College. I teach through the school districts. I do their after-school art programs. I teach in the community, homeschool classes, in art galleries and things. And I've always wanted to have my own studio and have my own place. But I am also a mom of three students, sorry.
They're also students.
Yes. I'm a mom of three kids.
Yeah.
And so I was a mom first. And now that my kids are grown, it's finally time for me to branch out and open my own studio.
So let's talk about all the things you offer your students and the families you serve.
I offer a variety of art experiences, starting at toddlers, preschoolers, mommy and me kind of classes, getting kids into those sensory experiences, and then they move on as they get older into more realism, learning different techniques, playing with different mediums, and then all the way through adults that are just wanting to express themselves. Either they're wanting some academic training, learning how to do specific techniques, or just coming in to express themselves.
Of the things you offer, what do you enjoy the most?
Oh, gosh. I like getting my hands dirty. I love doing the mixed media. I love doing sculpture and pottery. For myself, I am an oil painter. Oh. That is my concentration. Whenever I'm working on my own art, I do oil painting. But most of my oil paintings are very intricate. They're very detailed. They're portraits. And I love putting that aside for a little while and going in and doing sculpting and paper mache and getting my hands dirty with multimedia. I also teach clay classes and pottery. So I enjoy the freedom of working with my hands that way instead of just concentrating on painting.
And the studio isn't just a place to learn art. It's a place for other events, meeting and whatnot. You host different types of events. Describe the events you host.
I can host a variety of different events. I can do parties, girls' night out kinds of things. I also do corporate events. Corporations bring me in to do their team building, kind of an art therapy, getting to express yourself kind of thing. So I'll go and do the corporate events. I enjoy just doing art experiences just in general.
So what do you do with infants? I'm so removed. My children are all grown.
Right.
So I'm just, the concept of having infants do art, is it just getting their hands dirty and, describe an art class for infants?
Well, more for toddlers and preschoolers.
Okay,
yes,
fair. Yeah.
For toddlers
infants
and preschoolers. They're a little small.
Yeah.
However, I have done paintings with infants,
Okay.
especially when my children were young.
Wonderful.
I would set them down in the middle of a canvas and just their diapers so that they could be as messy as they wanted.
Wonderful.
And then you give them all sorts of paints that actually match. And so you just let them fill an entire canvas just with matching paints. And then you take pictures of the infants as they're working. So I have done some of those.
That's cute.
But not what I'm necessarily doing at the studio.
Right.
So starting with
toddlers. Yes.
So with your toddlers and preschoolers, it's all tactile. It's a sensory experience. They get to come in and feel how different things, just that tactile textures. They like to mix colors together. They like to create mess. It's just an introduction. And then you kind of relate it to different colors and start learning shapes and colors and things at that kind of age.
You'd mentioned your 7th-grade teacher. So now the roles are switched. So now you're teaching and helping. Talk to me about some of your students and the ones that have shown a real aptitude and basically the families you've helped find art.
I love art, but teaching really is my passion.
Yeah.
I very much enjoy watching their eyes light up when they actually learn that they have the potential, that they can do these things, that I've walked them through all of these different steps, and they see just the whole world open up to them. Most of my students really appreciate how I approach art with them. They enjoy my honesty. I am not one of those art teachers that thinks everything is perfect and everything is beautiful and yay.
Right.
I actually teach very academically, and I'm very honest with them. And I have had so many students come back and say how much they appreciated that, how they've gone out into the world. And they've had a variety of teachers who have just, straight A's, 100s for everything that you do. Everything is gorgeous. And I've had 2 students who have written me way back in the 90s when we didn't have email. I had students actually mail me letters saying how much they really appreciated my classes. And they always knew that when I told them something was great and that they were really learning, they knew that I was being honest, and they appreciated that. And I just love to hear that.
So tell me about your studio from say I wanted to sign up. So I go to the website.
Correct.
And what's available on the website? We kind of walk us through what you're offering there on the website.
So currently I'm just focusing on summer camps.
Okay.
We're going to get
It's
through
that
our
time of
summer
year.
camps. It
Yep.
is that time of the year. So I do offer 3 different summer camps each week. So in the mornings, I have my younger students. And then in the afternoons, I have my 11 and older. So I've got my middle schooler and high schoolers. And then in the afternoons, I love this, I offer family classes. I have had so many parents and grandparents who have approached me and said, hey, this looks really cool. I want to do this too. And so I have family classes where your child and their favorite adults, their favorite guardian, grandparent, whoever, can come and create together. So I'm doing those through the end of July, beginning of August. And then after that, the regular school year is going to be more focused on adults and my adult learners, my homeschoolers, my toddler and preschool classes. And then I'll also be offering open studio. And so this is what I'm very excited and passionate about. I believe that artists need community, that creatives need community. And I am trying to build an art studio where people are comfortable coming in and working on their own, working with fellow artists, learning new tips and techniques, just in an open environment. So that will begin starting in August.
Tell me about the academic side. What are they learning other than just hands-on?
So my focus isn't necessarily on just coming in and playing with the materials. Once you reach a certain age, our younger students, they do just come in and work with the materials. But I'm very academically and classically focused. I want you to be able to come in and learn vocabulary, learn techniques, learn all those tips and tricks that help you excel more quickly. A lot of classes are just kind of free for all. You go in, you copy the instructor, or you just come in and work on your own with just the instructor coming around and talking to you every once in a while. I find that takes you much longer to actually learn than if you have an instructor who is classically training you with all that vocabulary, bringing all of the hows and whys and how to use the materials. And my students excel so quickly when they have all of that foundation, that strong foundation. And then from there, they can go off and they can create on their own things that they actually want to create because they can, not because they are having to switch because they're unable to create what they want to create.
Stay with us. The Growing Your Business podcast will return right after this. Ready to amplify your brand's voice? At Blue Mike Studios, we transform your ideas into captivating podcasts and videos. Whether you're launching your own show or guest starring on ours, we've got you covered. From recording and editing to social media promotion. With state-of-the-art 4K video and crystal clear audio, your content will shine. We offer guest packages on our podcasts and offer segments from the show for you to share. Or let us help you build your own branded podcast with custom strategy, branding, and full production support. Visit BlueMikeStudios.com today and let your voice be heard. Please check our show notes for sponsorship links and additional details. Now, back to the Growing Your Business podcast with Buddy Broyles. once summer is over, and it'll come back around, so pay attention, everybody, because summer classes will be. When do you start offering the sign up for summer classes? Is that like a March or somewhere?
The sign up's usually going to be end of February, beginning of March.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. And then once the kids are back in school, let's talk about the other classes you offer that are your mainstay for, say, the fall.
Okay, so beginning in the fall, my early morning classes are going to be my mommy and me, my toddler and preschool. Get them up, get them out of the house, come have some sensory fun. And then I'll be offering my homeschool classes. From 11 to 2 is going to be my open studio where people can come in and they can create. And then my evening classes will be more adult-centered.
Talk to me about supplies. Do you have everything on hand? Do you encourage people to bring their own? What do you like from a workflow standpoint?
So it's just going to depend on the class.
Okay.
So my children's classes, all the supplies are always included. My mixed media camps, most of those supplies are included also. And during open studio, you are going to have the ability to use the supplies that are in the studio. I have oodles and oodles of lots of fun supplies and mixed media supplies and basic painting supplies. Yeah. My adult classes that are focusing on oil or acrylic or watercolor, those I encourage you to get actually artist grade materials instead of the kind of fun student grade materials. And those you will need to bring in your own supplies for those kinds of classes. But Open Studio and my younger student classes, all those supplies are included at the studio.
And for supplies you need to pick out, I imagine you have lists, like your preferred.
Yes.
Buy these versus these. You have some education there.
At the my very first class, I ask you not to bring any supplies when you come in to see me because I want you to get the right supplies. I want you to get the good supplies so that you don't have to then return them. A lot of times those supplies are confusing. So those artist supplies, when you go in there, there's 100 different brushes, there's 100 different mediums and 100 different kinds of paint. So I want to educate you to get the supplies that you really want and that you're going to excel with.
Tell me about corporate events. Like what does a typical corporate event look like and where is it held?
So usually corporate events are held at your location. I go into the businesses, they bring me in. Lunch and learns are usually the most popular, just an hour kind of lunch and learn. Mm-hmm. So it depends. So many corporations have a theme, a monthly theme of whatever they are doing. So we have done Earth Day kinds of things and recycled projects. And during the holidays, we do holiday things. Mm-hmm. I have had team building events where it's like 2 to 3 hour events. We get together in these groups and we discuss different ways that they can collaborate on creating large artworks. So lots of different things we can do with the corporate team buildings. They're a lot of fun.
What's the best, your favorite age group to work with? Believe
it or not, middle schoolers are incredible people. They're just kind of coming up from that elementary school age, but they haven't reached those full teenage years, and they just have so much potential, and they're really great. They are really great to work with. They're just starting to get into realism, so they're really interested in learning all of those techniques. But after that, I've been teaching my 55 and older students.
Great.
I've been teaching through College, and they are some of my favorite people.
I imagine. Lots of characters in that group.
Yes, they are. They have so many experiences that they bring to their artwork. So they're a lot of fun to work with.
What's your response to people who say, like me, that say, well, I'm not really an artist?
Everybody is an artist. Everybody is an artist.
And what do you mean by that?
So everybody, again, has that desire to create, whether it is the fine arts, whether it is dramatic arts, music arts, culinary arts, everybody has that drive to create. So when you come to me, normally you're interested more in the visual arts. And I start with the very basics. I find out what you're interested in. I teach those foundational skills to give you the tools to create whatever it is that you want to create. And then from there, we help you develop your style of what you're interested in, whether it's abstraction, realism, sculpture. Everybody finds their place. Everybody finds their place, especially when you come to a place that's a creative community and you get to bounce ideas off of other people, see what other people are doing and what they're working on. It's just a great artist community.
What is the best way to reach you? I mentioned your website. To go there, is there another way you like to be reached?
Through my website is best, through email.
Yeah.
I'm teaching most of the time, and I do not pick up my phone and answer phone calls or texts during class. So the best way is always going to be to email me through my website. That's
wonderful. I love the service you offer and your why behind it and how much you enjoy helping the community find their way to art, I guess. So, Lori, thank you for joining me on the show today. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us today on the Growing Your Business podcast. Please see the show notes for links to our sponsors, our social media, and to learn more about today's guest.